In today's video, we're going to discuss the top 5 financial mistakes veterans make before buying a house. In fact, this could go for anybody using their VA benefits to buy a home. If you're new here, my name is Rick Elmendorf, and I'm a 30-year veteran to the mortgage business, and my team and I have been ranked in the top 1% of loan officers in the country, and we specialize in VA loans. So one thing I promise is that you will walk away from this video knowing exactly what mistakes to avoid when buying your new home. I'm literally just going to discuss all these things that I'm seeing from my chair as a loan officer and as a lender, the things that are just a reoccurring theme when people are buying their house, especially when they're using their VA benefits. So let's get into it. First and foremost, the first mistake I'm seeing right now is financing with a conventional loan. I've done videos on this a little bit, but I wanted to kind of just get into the nuts and bolts of it. You see, people will tell you that you need to go with a conventional loan to win your offer, and don't finance with a conventional loan. And even though, the rate may be better, there are a lot of benefits that you can use to your advantage with a VA loan. There's nothing that exists in conventional financing that doesn't exist and actually are better with VA financing. The typical ones are, they can waive appraisal and financing. Well, you can actually do that as well on a VA loan. In fact, I did a video on this a little bit more in detail about how you can do it. The link will be in the description. And of course, for anything you see here and you just have questions, I respond to my comments, and I would be happy to schedule a time with you if you want to discuss further. So I guess the bottom line is there's really no true advantage going conventional over VA. It's just that we need to get over the stigma as to why a conventional loan may be better than a VA loan in the eyes of the seller, and more importantly, the seller's real estate agent. And that's where the lender really plays a huge part in this. So I recommend, especially on all of your offers, make sure that your lender is calling the seller's agent and they're having a good conversation about the strength of the offer, and especially if you guys need to be more aggressive with financing, waiving contingencies, you can certainly do that again, like I mentioned. One of the things that this mistake actually really hurts you with is when you try to go to refinance. Let's say you're in a interest rate environment where interest rates are higher. Now, I'm sitting here in my chair in November of 2024, and interest rates are much higher. We've just had the election, and rates have kind of spiked, and it's kind of bleak right now with home buying, and people really don't want to get into the market right now because interest rates are high. So obviously, we're hoping that by next year, we're going to see an interest rate decline, and a lot of people are going to be looking to refinance their mortgage. Basically, we just redo their mortgage at 30 years at a lower rate and lower their payment. The challenge is when you're trying to refinance a conventional loan to a VA loan is that there are a lot of extra costs. As a side note, I do have a video on a lot of these topics with financing with a conventional loan and kind of how that can hurt you. There is a link to a video I did called 5 Things You Need to Know Before Buying a House, and I would love for you to watch that at some point. The second financial mistake I'm seeing veterans make is not putting enough money down on your offer when you make an offer. If you have the ability to put money down on a VA loan, this makes you extra strong. You doing no money down, if you have the ability to put more down, it hurts you a little bit, right? So it's a little bit more challenging to get these no money down offers accepted. So my recommendation, if you are looking to make a stronger offer, go ahead and make it with 5 or 10% down. That gives you this built-in appraisal gap contingency. Not putting enough money down can hurt you. Another way not putting enough money down can hurt you is if you do not have a disability rating. Now, I've gone into this disability rating in other videos. In fact, I just finished recording a video about how to calculate your maximum VA loan, and then we go into calculating your funding fee. The reason I'm telling you this is if you're putting more than 0% down, if you put at least 5% down, that funding fee is massively reduced, especially if you're having a what's called a subsequent use. So if you've used your VA benefits before and you don't have a disability rating, the VA is going to hit you up the head pretty hard with an increased funding fee. So if you have the ability to put 5 or 10% down, go ahead and do it. It'll save you a lot of money. Mistake Mistake number 3 is that I hear buyers saying, I've really got to save up money to put down for this new home purchase. Well, remember, your VA loan is no money down. Even if you have it in use and it's somewhere else, in another state, and you relocated, you can still get 100% financing. And there's some little tricks to that, but we can do that on a call if you want. I'm opening up my calendar for anybody that wants to talk about these things. Or again, just leave me a comment. I'd be happy to respond. There's really no reason to say I have to save up money on a VA loan because VA loans are no money down. But sometimes the financials just don't play out, and no money down is better, right? Maybe you've got some debt to take care of, you're buying a new house, or maybe it's your first home, and you just don't really know the expenses they're going to be. Better to have some cash in the bank, just pay the funding fee. It's not that big of a deal. Finance your VA loan, but don't save up money to buy a house. The 4th mistake I see people make is, I've got to pay off some debt before buying a house. One of the things that is allowable in a VA loan is that the seller can actually pay your debt. A lot of people don't know that. VA loans don't have this credit score requirement. So maybe if you have some money to, saved up, pay off the debt with the cash, but there are so many flexibilities within your VA loan to be able to still qualify. Let's be frank, buying a house now is better than buying a house a year from now. Why? Because if you have interest rates drop, then you're going to have more competition. You also have appreciation. The reality is that the best time to buy a house was 5 years ago. So kind of the same premise. Try to get yourself in a position where you can buy now and don't kind of worry about this whole thing about paying off debt. The last financial mistake is that they don't interview real estate agents. It's important to interview agents. And I would just ask them, how many deals have you done in the last 12 months? How many of them were VA? Military spouse, and I've done 20 VA deals in the last, 12 months. That's probably a pretty good sign they're a good VA agent. So again, same thing with the loan side. And I wanted to give you a bonus tip. Maybe this is tip number 6. And I don't want to be negative on this, but a lot of my clients come in with approval letters from credit unions. And credit unions used to be like the game in town. But the problem is, this kind of goes along lines with having the right professionals in your ballpark, because the credit unions, they don't work weekends and you'll never get a hold of them. Well, guess when real estate transactions happen? They happen on the weekends, but the experience level I typically see in a credit union is just nobody that really knows VA loans, and they certainly will not be able to speak on your behalf. My recommendation is to get a lender that knows VA. And by the way, local lender means absolutely nothing. There's no benefit to having a dude that has an office in the town that you're buying in. It has no bearing on your transaction at all. But what does have bearing is that loan officer and that real estate agent can have a professional discussion with the listing agent and help sell your VA offer. That's the key. Well, there you have it, my 5 roundabout financial mistakes that I'm seeing when people are buying a house using their VA benefits. I hope you found it enjoyable. Please do leave me a comment. And this is Rick Elmendorf, and I'll see you on the next video.